Hello, everyone, and thank you for watching. I'm here with Pastor Brendan again. It's so great not to be by myself. But anyway, we have been engaged in a series called Love Requires. It's a study through the Enneagram, and we had our second teaching in that series last week where we talked about heart types. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today, but I would like to get what Brennan's key takeaway from Sunday is, and then I'll give you mine.
Yeah, so I think one of my key takeaways was when we take a look at the heart types, right? They're very much ruled by their emotion, and you can see that.
Feelings.
They have feelings,
Yes.
but each of their strengths are quite powerful. And so the heart types have tremendous capacity. It's really just about getting to them to a place where they can actually experience that potential.
For me, I think my key takeaway was what we discussed around why we need each other. And so for me, the Enneagram and that conversation on Sunday really reinforced for me again the idea that we all need each other, all of our gifts,
That's
all
right.
of our talents, all of our outlooks, all of our personalities in order to make, I think we'll create a better community, a better future. We're all going to need each other, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like twos have all that potential, threes have all their drive and success, and fours are so creative, but each of them can only really realize it or experience that in conjunction with other types.
Right. So imagine the creative force and what you could accomplish if we were all high functioning.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to move quickly into this question on love requires. So I want to flip it on its head a little bit today and say, how do we love heart types? So how do people who are not heart types love people who are heart types? And you're a two. So
I'm a two.
Yes.
I'm a two. So this goes back to our teaching Sunday. So definitely go back and watch that if you haven't, or take a look into just those heart types, those twos, threes, and fours in the Enneagram. But when you're loving a two, it's really about validating them, right?
Okay.
It's about encouraging them, right? Showing your appreciation. The most difficult thing for twos is to be served. So if you want to love a two, find a way to serve them,
Okay.
right? Ask them
Will they let you serve them?
not well, but ask them rather than doing the
Okay.
dishes if you can just clean one dish.
Okay, there you go.
And they will feel loved and appreciated because that service has been returned to them.
Okay.
What
there
about
you-
threes? What do we think about threes?
Threes, man, these guys are like really high achievers,
Yeah.
right? And so I think sometimes what happens with people who are high achieving is often we tend just to recognize the achievement
That's right.
and not the person behind the achievement. So maybe taking time to say, you know what? I value you, not just what you do,
Yeah.
not just your successes, but really taking time to figure out how to value that person. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's really important because their successes can often shadow or rather dwarf themselves, right? And so recognizing the work that they've put in to get to their success is very important for them. They might not realize that, but that is a very easy way to love a three.
Right. So fours, they're creative.
Very creative.
Uber creative, they're individualists.
They're special.
They're special. We love fours.
We do.
And actually, we had some profound conversation around fours on Sunday. But how would you say we need to love a four?
I think the important thing that we recognized on Sunday was that fours, they're hard to identify. They're hard to distinguish because fours very often want to become other types.
Right.
They want to go beyond their unique identity, and really they're envious of other types. So to love a four requires you to love aspects of themselves that might be difficult, that might be hard to love, right? Because those are things that might be frustrating or don't make sense to other numbers, other types, right? Other individuals. But really loving those unique aspects of that individual and encouraging them to develop that can be a profound way to love fours.
Right. So here's a question I have. So when we're looking at loving fours, what came to my mind is what about the dignity of time to listen to their ideas, to the way they see the world, to what they want to create? I think that would be important because oftentimes we're like,
Yeah.
don't mess with the fine will, the fine system, you know? So do you think that would be a good way to
Yeah, I think it's a great way to love on a number 4, right? On that individualist creative type. Because so often they are so envious of other types, they will often take the lead of others.
Right.
They're more natural born followers because their ideas are often some of the strangest ones we hear.
But some of the best ones.
Some of the best
actually,
ones, but we tend to shoot them down because we don't think that way. So to love a 4 really does require you to sit and listen and evaluate what it is they're trying to communicate and encourage that dialogue.
Right. So one of the things I think that we need to talk about, though, and we didn't really have a chance maybe to get into this so much on Sunday, is I think we need to give heart types some caution.
Yeah.
Around their personality, and you being a heart type.
Yep.
What pops to your mind is around caution, maybe that you or advice you would give around just maybe, being careful with who you are and your personality and things.
Yeah, I think this applies to all the heart types, right? So as we go through, you can very easily see it in 2s. 2s love to serve. We talked about it on Sunday. And they can overextend themselves. They will sacrifice their own self-interests and overcommit their abilities, and they end up getting burned out and burning others. And so the caution for 2s would just be to stop and ask why you're doing it, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you choosing to serve this individual? And if our motivation comes back and it's self-seeking, we need to really wrestle with that and figure out if it's worth it.
Actually, I think you could take that question why and apply it to all 3.
100%.
So why would an achiever achieve?
Right.
Why
are they driving for that success?
Is it for me only, or is it for the betterment of my family, community, my world, my city?
That's right.
Those kind of things. And then I think even for a 4 is why do they want to create? Or why do they want to see a vision take place? I think that why, I don't know, is it pretty powerful?
It is pretty powerful. We talked about it even with the 3s. When they're high functioning, they become collaborative. They actually become group focused in their success. And so that question of why we do is very important. Because as heart types, we can be very much ruled by our emotions, right? We discussed that. But those emotions can tend to lead us astray. And we often think that we've thought through a problem when we haven't. Right. We've listened to our gut, we've listened to our heart. And so to actually take the time, sit down and ask that why question and evaluate it can really change the trajectory of where we go.
And I think this is really crucial because when you look at especially like the Apostle Paul, when he wrote to the various different churches instructions, he often gave a lot of the reasons of why. This is why I'm asking you to do this, or this is why you should do this, or why you're actually acting out of accordance with who you really are.
Yeah.
And so that idea around why, I think, is something, like you said, all types need to sit and think about.
Yeah.
But especially those who are prone to maybe feel their way into a situation. They see something, their emotion goes jump in, and they never have the chance to go, oh, should I?
That's right.
Do that?
And often by the time they get to that point of going, oh, what's going on, it's too late. They've already gotten themselves in trouble, and their emotions have a hard time getting themselves out. Right. And so it's very important for heart types to really evaluate it with their thoughts, with their head, before they get into those situations.
Okay. So listen, that is some great stuff, guys. And I just want to encourage you for the full teaching. Again, go to my YouTube page. You can check that out. Now, this next week, this upcoming Sunday, we're going to be talking about head types.
We're talking about head types. We're talking about all those things that heart types don't have.
Yes. So 5, 6, and 7s. We're going to be talking about you this week. So make sure you cue in and check it out.
Check it out. We'll see you guys Sunday.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.